The student was running here at Oakwood Cemetery around 7:45 this morning. Public safety says a man came from behind a bush and forced her to the ground. This is only one of 11 pop-up clinics coming to low vaccinated areas. With these doors being locked and no money coming in from classes, the dance company is trying to stay afloat by selling costumes and equipment from their storage unit. You can say this exhibit has been years in the making. The artist Lavette Ballard used a mixture of art forms and colors to highlight the past and the present. Among many things, the new law changes the process of receiving an absentee ballot. A student tells us why she believes this creates a barrier for her and other Syracuse students from Georgia. She also says military members and veterans deserve easier access to programs like SNAP. Rising numbers of COVID cases has many parents concerned about their kids' safety in school.
My 16-year-old has severe lung problems. And so her whole life, we've had to deal with her being out of school because she has issues on and off.
Augusta parent Taniqua Rhodes says she worries about her young kids catching COVID, yet she knows they enjoy being in the classroom.
What I choose to do is just pray over my children and trust them with God once they leave from with me.
After many kids not physically being in school for a year, Statsny says she worries about their mental health.
The isolation and the grieving has been outrageous.
Mental health is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Some students may have lost loved ones during the pandemic. Others must simply readjust to being face-to-face with peers.
All days are not created equal. All children are a little bit different. There are different kinds of socialization.
Alexander Kisner is a researcher at the George Washington University. He says open communication with children and their teachers are key during this time.
Be open, and don't be ashamed, because we are all learning this word, and I think we are all helping each other.
Kisner also promotes exercise, eating healthy, and creativity to help families stay mentally strong. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Caleb Britt, WJBF News Channel 6.
The main goal is to make it back home. We have to take all these precautions that the white teenagers don't.
For you to behave and follow the rules was the way to protect yourself.
Brendan Carolina's mother began talking to him about racism when he was in middle school. He says he did not understand the importance of her words until high school. George Floyd's death put her words in perspective.
I was like, this is crazy. He wasn't doing anything. They just pulled him out of his car, and he was crying the whole time. And I'm like, that's gotta be, it was nerve-wracking for me to watch.
The 19-year-old says he felt tense watching the 8-minute and 46-second video of George Floyd's death. A former Minneapolis police officer knelt on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes as Floyd pleaded with him, "I can't breathe."
We have to take all these precautions that the white teenagers don't. If they stop you, don't give them any reason to do anything to you. Just be respectful.
Mental health counselor Lindsay Andre believes Black parents have conversations about race with their kids at an early age because of pain and fear.
You have this child who's learning to perceive themselves as othered. And that's a challenge to their sense of stability and security and potential for success.
Brendan joined the Syracuse mentorship organization Once Upon a Star in 2019. The group frequently discusses race and racism. The deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd were seen across the world, from the New York Times to the Washington Post. The group gathered to talk about police brutality, racism, and discrimination. The students also had time to ask questions and share personal experiences. Brendan, who's now a Once Upon a Star mentor, experienced racism for the first time in 7th grade.
I was drinking out of a water fountain, and some kid came out the bathroom and just called me the N-word, and I was like, what's the need for that? I didn't do anything to you. The teacher came out and saw us going at each other, and then I got sent to the office.
He says the white student wasn't sent to the office.
After those types of experiences, we shift into this mode of self-protection. And sometimes we're not even entirely conscious that that's what we're doing. And it just becomes a way of life.
Andre believes race is an ongoing issue. She says white parents who don't have these conversations with their children early on can cause emotional dangers.
This sense of privilege is perpetuated. And not only for those individuals, those individual families, but when they interact in the world, you're already without even speaking it into words, you're already perpetuating this idea of a power imbalance. You're already perpetuating this idea of fear and privilege.
Once Upon a Star's founder and CEO Sultani Campbell says he's taught his mentees like this group about being respectful and speaking well if they encounter police. Campbell relates this message to people the students are familiar with, like 26-year-old rapper King Von. Von had Billboard hits like The Code and Crazy Story. Von was killed in Atlanta in 2020 during a shootout involving two groups of men.
I understand how some of them might take it, but I've been through so much. I don't really feel like a lot of these conversations are hard. I feel like these are necessary conversations.
Campbell enjoys having conversations with his mentees. They've discussed topics like dating, abortion, and police brutality.
The main goal is to make it back home. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how tough you are. Do not let your ego get in the way. Do not respond with violence. They'll always win.
Joe Gregory is the vice president of programming for the 100 Black Men of Syracuse, a youth mentorship group. He remembers his mother talking to him about racism and police at a young age.
When we were punished, sometimes it was physical, but she would say, listen, I'm doing this because I don't want you experiencing this from the police.
Gregory believes that potential racism and the lack of representation showed itself during his high school years.
A lot of times, we were not encouraged by our teachers to pursue certain careers. So, even for me myself, the career that I ended up, the jobs that I ended up having were not the aspirations I had as a child.
He believes those teachers lacked understanding of Black people and their capabilities. This is why he and the 100 Black Men of Syracuse help students like the ones in this picture shadow professionals to learn about different careers.
Being able to see someone in a position of power that looks like you allows you to believe that you can get to that position too.
Moving forward, Andre says conversations about mental health and race can be a great start for healing. Reporting from Syracuse, I'm Caleb Britt.